28 day people. I'm super excited for week 2. All right. And this week's Monday mindfulness exercise, all right, is going to be focused on shifting thoughts and feelings from fear to thoughts and feelings of love. Okay. Because there's really only 2 emotions that exist. And when you get really, really deep into it, there's actually only one emotion, which is love. Now, fear shows up in our life in so many different ways, all right? Every time you're angry, every time you're worried, every time you're frustrated, every time you might feel jealous, right? Anytime we don't feel like, 100% happy, this means that we're just experiencing feelings of fear, and it's perfectly normal. And the reason why it's normal is because we've just been trained to feel that way. We've been trained to think in that way. You ever think about, like, maybe you're the type of person who, always thinks about worst case scenario, right? And, then you turn on the news and what do you get? Worst case scenario. And so what that does is that it just reinforces every thought you've ever had about the worst case scenario of life or whatever happening, right? And so, like, in this country right now, you can even think about how, how we're in a certain political climate because, some people are very fearful, and, both sides are fearful. So this week, we're going to focus on transforming that fear into love, because honestly, everything is better when you have more love in your life. Okay, so your exercise is to catch yourself being in a fearful state and then transform it. Okay, so anytime you're feeling angry. Okay, and so here's why anger is really just fear disguised, and it's an extreme form of fear. So say you're angry, let's give a situation, right? You're angry because your coworker got ahead of you got a promotion before you, right? So you're angry, maybe you're a little bit jealous, right? So if you break that down and really think about it, why are you angry? You're angry because your coworker got this new position. But why was it important for you to get that position? Because it meant more money, right? It meant more status, right? It meant like maybe that people would see you in a different light. Maybe it means that you would see yourself in a different light, right? And it's tied to your career goals and aspirations. And so what happens if you don't meet your career goals and aspirations? What happens when people don't see you in the light that you want them to see you, right? It might mean that ultimately you're afraid that you're less than. It might mean that you're afraid that you're not going to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And so there we go, right? There's the fear right there. So that all anger is just an extreme feeling of fear. Okay, same thing goes with jealousy. Same thing goes with feelings of lack or worry, right? A lot of people, you might worry about your kids, right? Making sure they're getting a good education. You might worry about being able to do it all, right? Because you're ultimately afraid that if you can't do everything that you set out to do, then that means that you're a failure, right? And then that means you see yourself as a failure, and then what, right? Then what does that mean about who you are? So we're afraid to look at it. So if you really, really think about it, all emotions that are not, making you feel good can really be linked back to fear ultimately. So here's a trick. Here's a trick that I use to handle it. Everything, all right, I've just decided, everything in the universe, everything that happens in your life happens for you, not to you. Okay, so if everything is happening for you, then that means that there's something good and amazing happening that's in the works, and you might not be able to see it yet, right? So anytime this week that you feel yourself in a fear, in a derivative of fear, anger, jealous, worried, stressed, okay, I want you to catch yourself. Whatever situation you're in, stop and ask yourself, how is this happening for me? Not why it's happening to me, right? Because that creates a victim space. But how is this happening for me, right? And even if you can't come up with an answer right away, your brain starts to think and starts to get you to see things in a different way so that you start to see the positive outcomes of it, all right? And you notice that gratitude exercise that we practiced last week, hopefully you did it, all right? When you're in that habit, it makes it much easier for your brain to come up with those answers quickly, right? So it makes it much easier for your brain to answer that question, how is this happening for me? Because you're already in the mode of seeing things around you that you wouldn't necessarily see as in being grateful for them. Okay, so hopefully you did that exercise. If you didn't, start right now, okay? So catch yourself and then write it down, okay? Write down in your journal, right? I felt angry today when da-da-da happened. I asked myself, how is this happening for me? And see what you come up with. And I noticed that this is happening for me because, I wanted to, this is a great opportunity for me to get better at my skills. Maybe it's a great opportunity for me to just practice being patient. Maybe this is a great opportunity for me to get to see a different side of someone else, right? So that's your exercise for this week. All right, transforming thoughts and feelings of fear into thoughts and feelings of love. Give it a try. Let me know.